dissipated by the resistors in a circuit. So for example, if this is how the circuit actually looks, what you usually do is you start with the resistors furthest away from the battery. So whenever you do a breakdown of this circuit, looking like this, it's basically going to be one straight line and two parallel resistors, the way I'm seeing it. So you have one straight line, there's your positive side to J1, positive side to J1, J1 to J2, J1 to J2, J2 to J3, J2 to J3, then you have J1 to 2, which is this one, 1 to 2, this one there. No, it's actually the middle one. So J1 to 2 is a 550 and 225, 225.50. And then from J3 to J2 it's a 0. From 3 to 2, 2 to 3 it's 0. And then you have the other one, which is J1 to 2, which is a 200, which is a 200 there. And then you have J1 to negative, J3 to negative side, J3 to negative side, which is at 150. And then you have your J1 to J3, which is basically J1 to J3, which is that one. So that's how you do the breakdown build up method. We will break the circuit down piece by piece and determine the equivalent resistance till we have a single equivalent resistance for the entire circuit. So I'll only do the breakdown for now. So how you do the breakdown is always start with a resistor. That's the furthest away from the battery. So it was basically that 50 and 250. Always start with series resistors in series, because resistors in series always have a good bet. Therefore start with the 50 and 250 resistors, always start there. So equivalent, so always start with the resistors the furthest away from the battery, and resistors in series, always start with that because it's a good bet. Those are the two main rules. So equivalent resistance for the 50 and 250 resistor, you do, if it's in series, you add them up and then you get that 250, 20 and 50 gives you 300 ohms. This is how we calculate equivalent resistance for resistance in series. Simply sum the individual resistance. So then we have that's number 1, draw 1, then we have draw 2. Now it's the 2 there, which is the previous calculated 300 and then the 200 below. So because it's in parallel, you get the reciprocal of both and you divide it by the reciprocal. So it's basically 1 over 300, 2 over 1 over 200, and then you divide it by 1 to make it the reciprocal of the whole story, and then you get 120. So this is just stating for resistors in parallel, the equivalent resistance is equal to the reciprocal of the sum. So the reciprocal of the sum divided by the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of that sum and then divided by the reciprocal. And then you have your third redraw, which is also two parallel ones. So you add them up, you get 120, and then you do your fourth redraw, which is the sum of that, which was 120, and then the 300 below, and that's your, because it's parallel, you do another reciprocal of the reciprocal, the sum of the reciprocal divided by the reciprocal, you get that 86 ohms. And then after that you add them up, because it's all 3 in a row now, so it's in series, so you add them up, you get 336 ohms. And then after that, this is what the battery actually reads. It doesn't care about how the schematical drawings look, it's only reading 236 ohms. So all that I'm stating is, as far as the battery is concerned, that is all that there ever was. The 336 ohm resistor, the battery only sees an equivalent resistance and supplies the current with a corresponding current. How the circuit divides up this current depends on the configuration. And then they just say, so we will label the current leaving and returning the battery as IO. So leaving the battery as IO and returning as IO. So basically this whole thing, all that the battery is reading is that there's a 336 ohm resistor. It doesn't care about how it's distributed, and that's how you do the breakdown. Like I'll do the build up, but not now.